When the people's will is swayed by a con man's cheap charade, despite the crass misogyny and blatant hypocrisy, when the fascist voices swell, we hear echoes of the past. They vilify the immigrants, the leftists and outcasts, when the opposition croaks and the people just don't vote for the same old tired rhetoric of neoliberal politics. We must organize the fight for our universal rights, for democracy and empathy to permeate this life. For it's not the immigrant who labors for some bread, who's making us toil till we drop dead. No, it's not minorities or peer-reviewed authorities, or queer folks and trans folks, or a multitude of deities. I say all are your comrades and none are your enemies, in the momentous fight against all bourgeois priorities. Freedom is not those traditional values crafted from bigotry and classist realities. Freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. We must stand together and make them cower. For the laws of this land have us used and abused, owned and subordinate to our patriarchal roots. I say it's high time we reinvent this whole operation to make mutual benefit our sole occupation. Because freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. We must stand together and make them cower. Here we go. Yes, freedom is freedom to move and disobey, to rely on one another to keep would-be kings at bay. Say none of us can stand alone against their power. Rise proletariat and make them cower.
Would you have freedom from wage slavery and join in the grand industrial band? Would you from misery and hunger be free and come do your share like a man?
There is power in a band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land, one industrial union grand.
Would you have sharings, the gold in the sky, and live in a shack away in the back? Would you have wings up in heaven to fly and starve here with rags on your back?
There is power in the band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land, one industrial union land.
If you've had enough of the blood of the lamb, then join in the grand industrial band. If for a change you would have eggs and ham, come do your share like a man.
There is power in the band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land, one industrial union band.
Well, if you like sluggers to beat off your head, then don't organize or unions despise. If you are nothing before you are dead, shake hands with your boss and look wise.
There is power in the band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land, one industrial union band.
Oh, come, O ye workers from every land, join in the grand industrial band. Then we our share of this earth shall demand. Come do your part like a man.
There is power in the band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land. One industrial union man.
Would you take contently what's put in your hand? Less than you've earned with one leg to stand. Would you believe what they tell you to be? Or with brothers go out and see?
There is power in a band of working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule every land. One industrial union man. There is power in those band working men when they stand hand in hand. That's the power that must rule in every land. One industrial union man. One industrial union land. One industrial union man.
I'm gonna tell you, fascists, you may be surprised. The people in this country are getting organized. You're bound to lose, you fascists, bound to lose. I'm gonna tell you, workers, when you cash your checks, they say America first, but they mean America's next. You're bound to lose, you fascists, bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. People of every color marching side by side, marching across these fields where 1 million fascists died. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. I'm going into battle, gonna take my Union gun, and I ain't gonna lay it down till every battle's won. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. This hatred cannot break us, but I'm learning quick. Our children won't be sold on your poison rhetoric. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Here comes a big machine surrounding all your hate, forcing it to surrender. Now it's getting late. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. All you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose.
Important to start out today's stream, I think, with some of that music. I know some people. I see you guys in chat sometimes turn your nose up to this type of music, but you know what? I think we need it. We need more explicitly anti-fascist music now more than ever. Dustin the Damned, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub over on Twitch. I really appreciate it. We're going to be having some sober conversation tonight. Stolas, you got amazing news. Your baby girl just had her first birthday. Congratulations. And you just had your HRT anniversary. Nice. Congratulations. Good things are indeed still happening every day in every corner of our world. And you know what? We got to keep holding on to that. I love you and all, but holy shit, this is late at night. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Sorry. I guess. I have been composing myself to try and not get arrested or TOS'd into oblivion for this show tonight, and it's been very difficult. I'm sorry if that inconveniences you. This is going to be another one of those shows where I have an extremely short fuse. We might have a string of those lately. Going forward. So, I don't know. Fucking deal with it. deal with the fact that the show is late. No Fed posting on Maine. I expect that of me, and I expect that of all of you as well, okay? Life sucks, we're all mad. Indeed. Indeed. Also, just as an FYI, I think as we are doing the show, the video about Ben Wickler is now live, which is pretty cool. If you guys missed that section of the stream yesterday, encourage you to check that out. Tomorrow is the election for DNC chair. And that is going to... There's a lot riding on it.
When Jack streams, all plans of mine magically get cancelled. This may or may not include entire nights of sleep.
It's true. I do tend to do that. And keep in mind, all of my nights of sleep absolutely ruined. But yeah. Thank you for the $5 dono. I need to get my passport. I was going to change my gender marker first, but I'm not going to do that now. Yeah. I figure as long as you have some kind of documentation that will allow you to get out of the country in a pinch, now would be the time to make sure you have that. I mean, it should have been months ago, but you know, if now is when you're starting, now's when you're starting. I've been basically in a depression/anxiety coma for the last week. It's becoming a problem. Yeah, I mean, and that is by design, right? People are on edge about tomorrow. Yeah. I think a lot of people, myself included, thought that Donald Trump's capital interests would prevent him from putting these insane tariffs into effect. But they're going in...
I don't have much, but you're worth every cent. Thank you so much, Bouquet, Heart.
Brianna Arabia, thank you for the $5 super chat. I very much appreciate it. And yeah, the tariffs are going into effect tomorrow. And I just want to give just such a hearty fuck you to every single news organization in the mainstream media that has reported on the tariffs. Like, even today, if you go and look up news stories about the tariffs. It's like Donald Trump is slapping a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. And it's like, no, you stupid motherfuckers. It's not being slapped on Mexico and Canada. It's being slapped on us. You, me, all of us. We're paying 25% more for all of those same goods that we were getting at the current prices. And honestly, the tariffs are only 25%. The prices are going to go up minimum 30% for some of these goods. But in a lot of cases, they're going to go up 50, maybe 60%, maybe even 70%. It's going to be dark. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know, folks. It's going to be rough. Yeah, make sure you put in your orders for beans, rice, stuff that'll last a long time. Any kind of canned goods or dried goods that will last for a while. Stock up now. Those prices are going to go up quite a bit because, again, a lot of our produce is grown in Mexico. So, spices, consider grabbing any spices you can. This is going to get really ugly. It is going to get really ugly. And I don't think anyone has an idea of just how ugly it can get and how quickly it can get that ugly. It will suck for us so bad. Yes, it is going to be awful. It's going to be awful. It's going to be rough as shit.
I'm scared. We're all scared.
Yep.
I have always appreciated you and your streams. You're such a strong positive influence in chatters' lives. They look up to you and you're comforting. BWA forever. Less than 3.
BWA forever. And Ms. Gender Lynn, thank you for the $25 dono. I very, very much appreciate it. Trying to explain to normie friends that it's getting bad and things are going out of control, and they're like, yeah, sure, but then it happens. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, normies have no idea what's about to happen. They don't keep track of tariff news. What's going to happen is that there's going to be like a weird rush tomorrow. And then people are going to kind of be like, oh, well, I guess things are still kind of normal because the prices aren't going to hit us tomorrow. They're going to hit like, I don't know, mid next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. That's when they're going to start hitting. And when they start hitting like that, that's when normies will actually start being like, wait a minute, what? So people in like the political know are going to be freaking out tomorrow. Normies aren't going to be freaking out until they go to the grocery store and see that their eggs are, $15. The sad thing is, life's been dark for a lot of people in the US and we weren't listened to. It's true. It's true. Well, and the thing is, Al the Healer, like, I don't think the eyes are open yet. Like, I don't think people understand yet. They're going to understand in relatively short order. But they don't understand quite yet. It'll really hit next summer and when the farmers can't afford fertilizer. I mean, yeah. Basically name any kind of industry, they're going to be affected by these tariffs. We get so much of our shit from China, so much of our shit from Mexico, a lot of our shit from Canada. It's going to be overwhelming.
Stay strong. When you have doubts, don't buy into them. Use them to strengthen yourself.
Ashley, thank you for the 20 tier 1 subs. I really appreciate it. Trying real hard to be composed, and I really appreciate your support on days like today. Because guys, what does Trump think he's going to achieve? Well, he's playing the tough guy card, number one. So he views this as a PR victory, right? But number two is that he's going to use it as a cudgel to bring companies and corporations in line. It's not rocket science. Basically, he's saying, if you want to play ball, we'll carve out some exceptions for you in these tariffs. Right? Like, that's one of the things he's going to use them for. He's basically pulling a mafioso stunt from the president seat. That's what he's doing. He thinks he's bullying them, but he's crushing us. No. Well, one, he does think he's bullying them, but number two, he views it as a prime opportunity to get a taste of the pie from every single industry in the United States. That's it. It's not like he's crushing us by accident. He's doing it on purpose in order to squeeze more money out of private corporations, out of private industries, you know? And I mean, it is part of his play to consolidate power. It is not merely to rob us, which was, in my mind, kind of the best case scenario of what was going to happen. But it is also to consolidate power. And I think the more concerning thing, more so than the economic effects that are coming, which are going to be extremely bad, is the impending consolidation. What we saw yesterday with the Office of Budget, yesterday, 2 days ago, time has lost meaning, the Office of Budget and Management, what we saw with that was an attempt for him to subvert the Constitution and take the power of the purse from Congress. That is something that you do if your goal is to be a dictator. And there was enough public outcry that they were like, okay, we can't do it that way, but we're going to keep trying other ways. And there was, there are currently lawsuits in effect. So judges have put a pause on that for now, at the very least until Monday. There's going to be a hearing on Monday. But they're doing another play that's more insidious and very scary. This is from Greg Sargent here at the New Republic. And this might be one of the most important pieces of journalism so far on what is happening specifically with this play to consolidate power behind the presidency, which I cannot stress enough is a play to functionally be a dictator. Trump and Elon Musk just pulled off another purge, and it's a scary one. Did Musk's alleged effort to access the government's payment systems have Trump's blessing, or was he going rogue? Either scenario is bad, but one is a little worse. So, for those of you who don't know, stories started surfacing throughout today that Elon Musk has been trying to force his way into essentially different treasury positions and meetings in order to gain access to the federal government payment infrastructure. And what that means would be that, for one, he would be able to effectively surveil the entire monetary system and circulation of money throughout the entire federal government. which on its own, just him having access to that is deeply bad for, innumerable reasons. But one of the very, very, very bad outcomes of this, and I do think that this is the main purpose of it, is effectively whoever controls that apparatus of payment systems is able to control which agencies get paid, get money. Okay? I hope that you guys understand a bit of like the implication to that. That effectively what he's trying to do is to turn Donald Trump into his personal dictator. And what this would, I mean, it would basically be in all but name giving the president the power of the purse. Because from then on, Congress can approve a budget, but the president is the one who actually, forwards the cash. If the payment systems are all controlled by the president or an unelected appointee of the president, as the case is, then effectively he can turn the water on and off for every single government agency that operates federally. Meaning if they don't play ball with him, they can ensure that Donald Trump can ensure that agency doesn't get paid. If they are given an illegal order and they say, nope, we can't follow that, suddenly they don't get money. What we are seeing is a constitutional crisis forming of an unimaginable scale. The kind that could lead to, like, actual conflict between states and the federal government. And basically, this is what I tried to kind of convey to you guys over the last few months. And this is kind of what I keep coming back to. There's a reason why for the last several months in our Discord, we have had informal ways for you guys to organize together and to offer to give people rides and help moving out of red states. Okay? Because in red states, the federal government is going to be given free rein to do what it's going to do. It is only going to be in places with explicit protections for marginalized groups that state governments will stand up to the encroaching authoritarianism. The threat is real. And if this is allowed to continue, and I don't know by what mechanism I don't know what mechanism our government has to correct this. I don't know that there is one. I mean, just reading this excerpt alone, right? Okay. This is from, again, the New Republic. The startling news that a top Treasury Department official is departing after a dispute with Musk shows how deeply wrong that story truly is, and why it's actively dangerous. The Washington Post reports that David Lebrick, who has carried out senior non-political roles at the department for decades, is leaving after officials on Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, sought access to the Treasury's payment system. Lebrick had a dispute with Musk's surrogates over access to the payment system the U.S. government uses to disperse trillions of dollars every year, the people said. The exact nature of the disagreement was not immediately clear, they said. The news raises a complicated question. What the fuck? Why is Musk's DOGE trying to access payment systems inside the Treasury Department? It's not clear what relevance this would have to his ostensible role, which is to search for savings and inefficiencies in the government, not to directly influence whether previously authorized government obligations are honored. Another question, did Trump directly authorize Musk to do this, or did he not? Either answer is bad. If Trump did, he may be authorizing an unelected billionaire to exert unprecedented control over the internal workings of government payment systems. If he did not, then Musk may be going rogue to an even greater extent than we thought. And this is where things get really bad. This is where things get really bad. I contacted a few former officials at the Treasury Department and the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, to try to gauge what this means. What was striking is the level of alarm they evinced about it. And I'm just going to pause right there because, folks, the people who work at the Office of Management and Budget are accountants. If accountants are ever alarmed, something has gone extraordinarily wrong. Here's how the Post describes these systems. Typically, only a small number of career officials control Treasury's payment systems. Run by the Bureau of the Fiscal Service, the sensitive systems control the flow of more than $6 trillion annually to households, businesses, and more nationwide. Tens, if not hundreds of millions of people across the country rely on the systems, which are responsible for distributing Social Security and Medicare benefits, salaries for federal personnel, payments to government contractors and grant recipients, and tax refunds, among tens of thousands of other functions. Former officials I spoke with were at a loss to explain why Musk would want such access. They noted that while we don't yet know Musk's motive, the move could potentially give Doge the power to turn off all kinds of government payments in a targeted way. They said, we now must establish if Musk is seeking to carry out what Trump tried via his federal funding freeze, turn off government payments previously authorized by Congress. The White House rescinded the freeze after a national outcry, but Trump's spokesperson vowed the hunt for spending to halt will continue. The former officials are asking, is the Treasury power grab a way to execute that? And I have to say, that is exactly what is happening. Like, I know that there's like probably a level of trepidation in reporting on this issue. But like the most obvious conclusion here, when you got a bunch of people who are former officials and they're scratching their heads and being like, why I can't really think of any reason why someone would want to do that other than to effectively do this other thing that they just were told they couldn't do. They're trying to do that thing. They're trying to do that thing. I don't know how this isn't treason, and therefore someone should be seriously taking control. I mean, Ms. Genderlin, you are entitled to your opinion. I just, I've been racking my brains all day to figure out a way of, like, talking about this in a productive way. But, I mean, some of the quotations here, I think pretty much speak for themselves. Anybody who would have access to these systems is in a position to turn off funding selectively, said Michael Linden, a former OMB official who is now director of Families Over Billionaires, a group fighting Trump's tax cuts for the rich. The only reason Musk wants to get himself in there must be because he wants to turn some things off. And the rest of this article really digs into the mechanisms of how the Treasury Department functions, you know? And how basically someone with access to this system can turn off the flow of money to various individuals or organizations. I mean, I gotta call a spade here, guys. This really seems like an effort to kill democracy in America. I don't really know how else to say it. This is blatantly unconstitutional. It is an effort to break the way our country functions on a pretty fundamental level. And I think that if this is allowed, we're in a very different world. We're in a very different world. And I don't know exactly what advocating for change in that world looks like. I don't know what kinds of conversations we're going to have. But I do know there's going to be a lot of suffering. Because this is, again, if this is allowed to go through, if it is apparent, and again, we'll know more tomorrow, I'm sure. As of right now, this seems like an attempted coup of the United States government by the government. Like, we have these billionaire operators being given unprecedented access to effectively destroy our democracy and set up a dictatorship. That's my read on the current state of things. An administrative coup. That's probably a better way of saying it, Electric Radimus. Yeah, again, this doesn't... People are like, oh man, this must be smart. No. None of this is smart. None of this is smart. It does not take brains to be like, I'm gonna, well, there's no rule in there about a dog playing basketball. So we're in a really bad situation here. Matt Leck from the Majority Report and Left Reckoning reposted Don Moynihan really succinctly summarizing all of this. 1, Trump and his budget chief that they believe they do not have to spend money Congress appropriates. 2, promise a massive screening of appropriated spending to new political criteria that do not exist in law, which basically means they can do whatever the fuck they want. And 3, capture machinery for controlling the flow of money. Pretty clear where this is going. Yeah. Can this backfire on Trump in any way? I genuinely don't know. I don't know what mechanisms we have that apply to maneuvering of the president like this. I don't know what mechanisms, other than like immediate impeachment and subsequent stripping of power, we have. And we know that Republicans aren't going to do that. So when I look at this situation, I don't have any answers for you guys. How in the hells do we not doomer while watching them do this? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I get angry. I've been really fucking angry the last few days, and I'm really fucking angry today. And I know I'm not necessarily showing that. But understand that, like, I think being aware of this, being extraordinarily angry, and combining that with the fact that, like, in a week or two, these tariffs are going to be fully apparent to everyone. I don't know how that doesn't radicalize this nation against what Donald Trump is doing. So, like, I guess kind of where I'm at here is that there are a whole lot of unknowns as we go into February. It's currently January 31st. Tomorrow is going to be a new day in America in a wide variety of ways. It's going to be the implementation of tariffs. The DNC chair election is happening tomorrow, which will establish what direction Democrats take in response to all of this. And really from there, I think we're going to be able to survey the damage a little bit better tomorrow. But I will say the one glimmer of hope I have after watching the DNC chair debates and town hall forum they hosted, I do think that if Ben Wickler wins the DNC, I think he's going to inject the real spine into Democrats. I think the marching order that's going to come down from him to Democratic politicians is effectively going to be that you have to go out there and you have to fight this. You have to, like, make a show of throwing sand in the gears, of putting, sugar in the engine of whatever the hell is happening here. That's the one glimmer I see, because that man, for all the faults Democrats have, that man actually seems to have some fucking clue about what's happening. Well, that's the other thing, Stolas. Ben Wickler is a guy who doesn't throw folks under the bus. And it's honestly kind of incredible that he is apparently, very well situated to win the chair of the DNC. Because if he does, I don't think he's throwing trans people under the bus. And I don't think he's throwing Gaza under the bus either. He was one of the few Democratic voices very supportive of the uncommitted movement and critical of the DNC for not allowing them to speak. So I'm hopeful that he can put us on a better course, because at his core, he's a union man. And he understands what the relationship between workers and capital actually is, and that we need to fucking fight. He knows in his gut that we have to fight every step of the way, and we have to televise that fight. We have to make as big a story out of the conflict between Democrats and Republicans as we can to show that Democrats are actually struggling against this. Well, and also, Gordon Guy, one of the most frustrating parts about this is that legacy media does not give a shit about any of this. Legacy media is owned by billionaires and 100 millionaires. They're pushing out old guard journalists at the New York Times who've been around for like 25 years, who aren't even like that left, but who might say something inconvenient to those in power. All of these billionaires and these 100 millionaires, they go to the same cocktail parties, guys. They have the same class interest. And they are not interested in actually reporting stories that conflict with power. Yeah, Lady Ringcloud, exactly. MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CNN, the LA Times, like the Washington Post. It is... Yeah. Again, if this attempt to seize the treasury works for them, we are in a very different country. There are officially no checks and balances on the power of the president. So, yeah, that's where we're at. It's a grim day. It's a grim day, and we have other issues we need to tackle. And you know what? We're not even going to do multiple segments for all of these. We're just going to do one. One of the things that's really, really important right now, because I want to give you guys an accurate idea of where we're at. Okay? I don't want to bullshit you guys. I don't want to I want you guys to know the exact scope of the problem as we currently are aware of it. And then we'll talk about maybe what we can do. Okay? So, one of the other things is that a lot of data on government websites is going missing. A lot of information, a lot of aesthetics are going away, which is why increasingly we have to reject the idea that aesthetics are communicating policy. That's not a good way of putting it. We need to reject the importance of aesthetics and really look at materially what different policies can do. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, government websites were taken off. Federal government websites were taken offline around 5 p.m. Eastern time today. I don't know to what degree they are back up, if they are. But understand that one of the last kind of bastions we are going to have is what's called the end-of-term web archive, which is basically at the end of every presidential term, there are people who volunteer to archive information off of these websites. It's going to be really important because there are various government websites. For example, the CDC. A lot of information was taken off of it related to vaccines. Okay? According to the Wall Street Journal, more than 1,000 pages that had been visible Friday were missing from websites for the CDC, National Institutes of Health, and Department of Health and Human Services. Some of the removed CDC pages contain information about vaccine recommendations. The pages taken down contain material from the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which advises the agency on vaccine recommendations. They are targeting different topics that they view as woke and taking them off of government websites. And perhaps nowhere is this more apparent in what they are doing to any mention of LGBTQIA+ individuals. Many of you who are trans may have already seen this, but on a lot of federal government websites, they have shifted from using LGBTQIA+ to just LGB travelers, or LGB. So, again, it's going to be, it's rough. A lot of information, a lot of guidance is being changed actively as we speak. Yeah. It is bad. Law Dork actually did a really good overview of this today. Chris Geidner, if you guys aren't following them, you definitely should be. Disappearing websites, data among the chaos of Trump's anti-trans censorship, or as Trump's anti-trans censorship begins. It begins with this embedded image from Ambassador Tibor P. Nagy performing the duties of M. Colleagues, to comply with the Defending Women Executive Order, the Department of State is reviewing all agency programs, contracts, and grants that promote or inculcate gender ideology. We are removing outward-facing media that does the same. Bureaus have already been alerted to review trainings, forms, and plans that involve gender ideology. All employees are required to remove any gender-identifying pronouns from email signature blocks by 5 p.m. today. Your cooperation is essential as we navigate these changes together. Thank you, Ambassador Tibor P. Nagy, performing the duties of the Undersecretary for Management. M. Yeah, so again, a lot of these aesthetic changes are going to be going away. So no Mr., Miss, or Ms. or Miss. Genuinely, no idea. And I don't think they have any idea either. There's a lot of confusion swirling right now because part of the entire point of all of this, the reason so much of this is coming out at the same time, is to demoralize folks and to, frankly, make it seem like the Trump administration is doing things that will materially benefit the base. They are not. And they are also trying to confuse folks. They are trying to make it harder to respond to. Okay? Can the military no longer say sir? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, let's pull this up here. An anti-transgender government-wide totalitarian form of censorship is being implemented right now on the orders of an acting federal appointee, again, Project 2025, with the effects of erasing significant amounts of information from the public less than 2 weeks after Donald Trump became president. And they're going to use overly broad and generalized language because, you know, they know that they don't have to say anything about Mr., Miss, or Ms. because, you know, people are going to be like, hey, can I still use this? And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, of course. We're not unreasonable. You know, they're going to use it as an opportunity to position themselves as arbiters of reason, you know? Among the most stark reports provided to Law Dork about what is happening information-wise are those involving the Census Bureau and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A census employee told Law Dork, quote, several of our ongoing surveys have been ordered by their sponsoring agencies to be modified to remove any reference to the word gender and any gender identity-related questions. Now, this is dangerous, particularly because it means that we won't have information about, gender nonconforming individuals. You know, we're not going to have information on that. And that will make it easier for them to hide some of their abuses that I'm sure are being planned. The National Crime Victimization Survey, conducted for the Department of Justice's Bureau of Justice Statistics, and National Health Interview Survey, conducted for the CDC's National Health Center for Health Statistics, have already been altered per the employee. Quote, both surveys will have removed those references starting with their data collection cycle in February. The census employee explained, adding that similar changes are being made to the consumer expenditure surveys conducted for the Department of Labor's Bureau of Labor Statistics, but that those will likely go out in March. There's a Freedom of Information Act request made before Trump took office as a way to preserve records. Yeah. Again, nothing here is really unexpected. And I do want to, I guess, want to hit on this, right? It is all monstrous. It will lead to suffering. But for them, it's a show. You know, it is red meat for the base to satisfy them and make them think things are happening so that they can pave the way for what they actually care about, tax cuts. Tax cuts and consolidating power. So, yeah. If you want a broader overview than what I'm going to dive into at the moment, I recommend reading this Law Dork article in its entirety to really get a view of the problem, to understand the scope. Would everyone inventing new pronouns help in any way? No.
Watched your video of Jink and Crystal Ball. Thank you for not being bought of by Big Ball Coddler. Shimpity shimp shampoo.
Charlie Jinmir, thank you for the $5 super chat. And for the shimpity shimp shampoo. I enjoy that. Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is just a flurry of compliance letters and emails coming out. Yeah. It's all bad. Well, I'll give one additional update. about this because this is as of 2 hours ago. Data on HIV is just gone entirely from the CDC website. Yeah, it's really, really bad. Well, they want, they want to be able to spread a narrative that, you know, gay and trans people are diseased physically as well as, like, you know, mentally, and a disease to the body politic, you know, because they're, you know, fascist like that. So yeah, it is grim. It is really, really grim out there. Additionally, an additional component of this was reported on via the Aaron in the Morning Substack or website, reported on by Mira Lazine. And that is that Trump's Equal Employment Opportunity appointee chair is prioritizing a transgender bathroom ban in private bathrooms, in private businesses. Now, keep in mind, this can only be implemented by private businesses that go along with it, but it's basically paving the way for private businesses or, you know, contractors or any kind of business that works with the federal government to necessitate a trans bathroom ban as well. Kyle had a video talking about how they have set their sights on banning gay marriage rights. They have. Yes. That is accurate. Clarence Thomas for years has been salivating at the chance to overturn Obergefell. So these things are happening. I'll link the private bathroom ban in chat. You guys can read about that as well. But we're not done, unfortunately. There's a lot that has been going on. I mean, also, in case you're wondering, like, how actively white supremacist are they going to be about this? How mask off are they going to get? And Andrew S., thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm going to mute this so that it doesn't do 5 dings, but I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the show. This is from earlier today, from the White House press secretary.
Thank you. 2 questions. So we now know that the staffing was not normal at the air traffic tower, and so with the government freezing the hiring of new federal workers and offering buyouts, are you not afraid that more incidents of different kind could happen with less staffing in different agencies?
Well, the president is intent on ensuring that we are increasing staffing at these agencies, and that's why he signed a very strong executive order on his second day in office, immediately terminating DEI hiring practices at the FAA. He also, following the tragic crash, as you all know, in the Oval Office yesterday, signed a memorandum directing an immediate assessment of the FAA to ensure the federal government is maintaining the highest personnel and aviation safety standards. And I would also just say there's a cultural piece to this as well. If you are an American who has spent many years studying aviation and you graduate from school and you're an air traffic controller based on skill and merit, and then you apply for a job and you're forced to fill out a biographical questionnaire asking you the color of your skin and asking you where you're from in details that aren't relevant at all to the job description, I think that deteriorates the morale of people in this industry. And if you talk to people in this industry, they'll tell you that. In fact, many of them filed a lawsuit against the FAA a couple of years ago under Joe Biden's administration because they were denied positions because of this DEI hiring practice that was putting identity politics over merit and skills. That's unacceptable. And I think just to put a fine point on this, because this is the third or fourth question I've answered on this subject, when you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob Crilly.
The mask is off. Do you pray your pilot has a certain skin color? You know, like, I know that conservatives do, because they believe that whether or not the plane lands is dependent on skin color. It's literally all they've been talking about for like months now. Charlie Kirk was talking about it pre-election. Like, I want them to be more mask off. I mean, you're gonna get your wish. They are becoming more mask off. That is the entire purpose of me bringing this up. You know? It is deeply worrying that they feel safe enough to go this mask off, though. You know? That's kind of one of the things that's bad about this, is that while, yeah, it might radicalize more normies, it also means they feel more safe. I'm gonna talk about this real quick, but the Trump administration is taking a toll on trans people. That's pretty obvious. I know the trans folks in the audience are well aware. I don't have to tell you guys. But I am gonna implore you to, like, endure. I'm gonna do my best to endure. Hope you guys will too.
I don't know how you keep up the energy. Going to try and listen while napping. From Caracal.
Caracal, thank you for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Get a good nap. That being said, earlier today, a transgender individual in Virginia, or sorry, not in Virginia, in Syracuse, outside of the VA, took their life. And I implore you, don't do that. Please. I fucking get it. Right now, I really do fucking get it. But please stay with us. We need you. They, I'm not gonna get into the details, but they were, wrapped in a transgender flag outside the VA. And I want to be brutally honest with you guys. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to suffer, and there are going to be a lot of people who don't make it. And it breaks my heart.
I will endure. I'm too spiteful to die. Let my lipstick be my war paint. Lipstick.
So please stay with us.
Stay strong, dear friends. We will prevail. Eventually. We must live and fight on.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing about fascism. It cannot last. That's one of the things about it. But it can last for a bit, right? It is not an inherently sustainable ideology or power structure. And so our mission is to endure, to survive, to fight where we can, and to make it through this. And some of us aren't going to make it. But I want you to know that for as powerful as they seem right now,
Sending love from Canada.
we're going to outlast the fuckers. When they're dead and gone and 6 feet in the ground or in a pile of ash, we're still going to be here. Because we've always been here. And that's not going to change. There's nothing they can do to get rid of us. They are, in fact, bound to lose. But while they're here, they are going to try and make us suffer. And I do want to say, there are going to be people in, especially in queer circles, who are going to try and tell you that what is happening right now to LGBTQIA plus individuals, and the community as a whole, they're going to tell you that, like, oh, this is being done because, you know, of neo-pronouns. This is being done because y'all couldn't be normal enough as trans folk. Y'all couldn't stealth enough. Y'all couldn't stop wearing your trans flags and pins and just live like normal people. Okay? There are going to be people in queer spaces who are going to say that. And they're full of shit. I feel like that's pretty obvious, so I feel like I don't need to, like, really say that because you already know it, but, like, I'm going to say it out loud. Again, they are full of shit. Because the conservative movement has made no secret about what it wants to do to trans people. Okay? People are like, oh, it was so great back in 2016 or 2015. It was so great for trans people out there. You know, we could have just held on to what we had. And I'm here to tell you, no. Here is the Family Research Council, one of the most bigoted anti-LGBTQ organizations on the planet that has dedicated its entire existence to trying to stamp out gays, lesbians, bisexuals, any kind of queer, any kind of trans person. They have dedicated their existence to ending us. And here is a piece from 2015, I believe. Yeah, here it is. An issue analysis put together by the organization, the Family Research Council. And it basically outlines almost verbatim different things that they want the government to do, what they want people who support them to do. According to the new gender ideology, the word sex is restricted to the biological, while gender describes the social and cultural manifestation of sex, how a person feels and experiences his or her gender identity, how it's shaped by culture. If individuals are unhappy because they want to be the sex they were not born, they are, according to the American Psychiatric Association, suffering from gender dysphoria. Some believe they were born in the body of one sex and the psyche of the other and want their bodies changed to match their internal wiring. They want to convince others to see them as the other sex. Family Research Council affirms that what has been accepted as both normative and indisputable, that the truth about sexual differences is objectively knowable, and that redefining it will be harmful. And this has been the stated and expressed position of this forever. Here, genderqueer versus the gender binary. To most Americans, it may seem radical to assert that a man can become a woman or a woman can become a man. However, the transgender movement has moved into even more radical territory, attacking what they call the gender binary. That is, the idea that everyone should identify as either male or female. Those who adopt this approach sometimes refer to themselves as genderqueer. One of the reasons for the rise of genderqueer is the state of being transgendered is extremely unstable. One source listed over 70 different gender identities. And the next section is, of course, titled Rebelling Against Reality. Because again, all of the rhetoric outlined in this document was already being pushed in Republican circles 10 years ago. Anyone who is trying to sell you that the current Republican Party is not a manifestation of what has been pushed by its activists and evangelists for the past decade is because of, like, trans people being too weird. Nah, they were gonna do this anyway. They hate you. You are not special. You are not some, like, exception to, like, their hatred. You are merely a convenient tool for them to further their hatred until they can immediately turn on you and eat your face, like the leopards they are. It is not complicated. Anyone trying to sell you on this idea that if you just conformed enough, if you just, passed enough, they'd be okay with you. No. It's just a lie. They are just lying to you in a desperate cope born of horrific politics. So, yeah, things are going poorly here, to say the least. And one thing that I will throw out there is just the fact that, like, they're doing other shit on a local and state level, which is one of the reasons why I want you guys to get involved in your local political scene. I want you guys to get involved with your local Democratic Party, and I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but it's the only way you make the party better, and two, it is one of the only, like, mainstream ways to push back against this. Without me knowing your different localities and, like, what individual groups you have active in your local areas, it's one of the few things I can point to and be like, this is a place that should be using its resources to help you. And if it is not, you should go there with a bunch of your local friends and make it do that. It should be a place of resistance, of love, of support. And at the very least, if it's not as radicalized to your socialist politics, your, progressive politics, you showing up helps to move it in that direction, right? But also, and I know that this may seem a bit weird, right? But a lot of local Democratic parties are full of well-meaning people. They might not have politics that 100% align with yours, and probably in a lot of cases, they're not going to have politics that align with yours if you are watching my channel. But showing up to those meetings and speaking up and being known and becoming a figure in your local political scene that can be relied upon to do different things, that means, like, you are known by others in your community and you can help others in your community. But also, maybe even more importantly, if you are a marginalized person, there are going to be other people who know you and can help you. As a matter of survival, I would say that if you are a marginalized individual, you should go and become known at your local Democratic Party. You should go and be known at your local DSA. Okay? And if if you're trying to do and, like, organize with, like, liberals, for example, figure out how to word your political positions in a way that it's going to appeal to liberals. This is a way of building community support for you and your loved ones, as well as building political power. It is a win-win. A lot of people will want to shrink back and disappear. Exactly, Ms. Genderlin. There is going to be a very strong impulse in every single one of us to shrink, to make ourselves small, to hide. That is the path of isolation, and it is what it makes us vulnerable. It makes us targets. When we all stand together, it's a lot harder to target us. We have a lot more resources when we link our arms with others. And also, it is going to, you will form part of the bulwark that will work against stuff like this. This was published in the Tennessean yesterday. Tennessee GOP passes immigration law to criminalize elected officials' votes. Basically, the GOP finalized an immigration bill Thursday, establishing a new enforcement office exempt from public records and criminalizing local officials who support sanctuary policies for immigrants. In red states and in blue states where, Republicans operate, they are going to be trying to pull shit like this. And this will erode the democratic mechanisms that keep us safe as marginalized people. If we do not show up to resist these types of legislation, we will find ourselves stamped out. It is not any longer really a question of, frankly, it's not a question of, I would rather not show up to my local Dems. I'd rather not show up to my local DSA. Oh, it's just too hard. I don't have the spoons for it. Like, I get it. But this is a matter of survival now. This is what I'm dubbing this kitchen sink politics. Because we are currently faced with a problem greater than any of us have ever experienced or seen in our political lifetimes. One that I do not have all of the concrete answers to. One that no one truly understands the scope of yet. We do not understand the damage that has been done and will be done going forward, and how that will affect everyone in their day-to-day lives. All I know is that in about a week or two, these Trump tariffs are going to be felt by every single American in the country. What I do know is that that is going to create a lot of misery, a lot of suffering, and it is going to distract from even more attempts to marginalize folks who are already in a very precarious position. Organizing at this point is survival. It is we cannot think of this as, oh, well, I'll just, grill and chill. I'll just watch, a show, and when it's done, it'll all be concluded. I can sit back and let the Democrats hash it out. It won't get that bad. No one's going to be knocking on my door. And also, for the love of God, like, don't be one of those people who's just like smug posting while the entire country burns. That was a luxury. That was a luxury we don't have time for anymore. Okay? So ultimately, what I am proposing with kitchen sink politics is that this is a problem so large and so all-encompassing and so beyond my ability to advise any of you on. Like, I can't be like, go to this organization that's knocking on doors in your neighborhood, and like, I can't give you that advice for this kind of problem. Right? This is the kind of problem where, in the absence of concrete solutions that I can advocate for broadly, I am instead advocating that you do anything and everything you can do. Throw everything that we have at this problem, including the kitchen sink. Because that's the kind of politics we're in now. And what I mean by that, and I've spent a lot of today trying to figure out how to put this, but I want each and every single one of you who is watching this stream, watching this segment, I want you to think of all of the things you could possibly do that might make a material difference, that might influence politicians, that might build up political power, and we can think of it as like political disaster sandbagging. Like think of all of the things you could do. Write them down if you have to. Do a brainstorm. And I want you to choose 3 of those things to commit yourself to. And then tomorrow or the day after you do that brainstorm, start pushing forward on those things. Because I don't know what your individual circumstances are going to be, especially as these tariffs hit and we all start feeling the economic pinch. I don't know what your local political situation is going to be. I don't know what type of threats you or your loved ones or your community faces from ICE. I don't know, in what way you are marginalized. But I want you to firmly commit to 3 things materially that are not you posting on the internet, that are not you, doing something like that. What can you do to show up in this time? Is it volunteering at your local homeless shelter? Volunteering at your local food bank? Is it, maybe you work a high stress job and you make a lot of money. Maybe it's going through and like committing to X number of like support, X amount of support for like GoFundMes or something. Because there are going to be an awful lot of those. And, obviously with whatever circumstances you are dealing with, figure out 3 things that you can do. And, maybe posting on the internet is a thing you can do, but figure out how to make that posting as effective as possible versus, shouting into the void on Blue Sky. Figure out 3 things and then actively work on those things. Actively push forward on those things. I know there are going to be some people who are going to turn their nose up at like the Democrats or at DSA or, they're okay, fine. Commit to 3 things. If you are disabled and you are bound to your location, show up to digital meetings. You can still organize digitally with various groups. There's still really important work you can do. Every single meeting that I've gone to so far for DSA and for my local Democratic Party, I attended it digitally. Yeah, Ms. Genderlin, there are most meetings politically, most political meetings these days have Zoom. Most DSA chapters meet via Zoom. The Democrats in my local area have committed to hybrid meetings where you can go in person or on Zoom, and if the weather's bad, then they just have it on Zoom. So even if you are bound to your home, you can still participate in organizing like that. If you are capable and willing to learn how to use firearms, join your local SRA, Socialist Rifle Association, or your John Brown gun clubs, build up a skill set that can be useful to your local community. Because here's the thing, right? And this is why I want you all to commit to 3 different things. Just start thinking about them as I'm talking. Because there are so many problems. This time and this chaos is going to create a lot of suffering and a lot of need for people to get involved. And a lot of that also means there's going to be a lot of different ways folks in different communities can step up. We covered yesterday a story about how people in different metropolitan areas are organizing in order to watch for ICE officials in order to warn of ICE raids. Okay? And that was actually reported on by Teen Vogue. Read more Teen Vogue. It's one of the only... bizarrely... Teen Vogue, one of the few, relatively mainstream centers of journalism in America right now. That's how kind of fucked everything is right now. When, the New York Times and the Washington Post are not even competing on Teen Vogue's level. There's going to be a need, if you need ideas, check out your local library. There are often volunteering opportunities on the bulletin board of your local library. Last time I was in my local library, I saw a posted advertisement for people to, I think above the age of 50 to, effectively be companions for the elderly, for older folks. Just spend time, hang out with them. And not in a home care way, but in a more equitable, friendly way. Take stock of what skills you have, what your local needs are. Think of things that you can do and you would be interested in and you would be suited for. And find 3 of them that most appeal to you, that you can do and commit yourself to, both, the next day and every day going forward, okay? The more you do that, the safer you will be, the safer your community will be, the stronger we will be as a whole, and the more prepared we will be to weather the coming horrors that the Trump administration seeks to unleash. And also... and I'm just going to throw this in kind of at the end here. Just be aware you're not alone. Okay? There are a lot of really good people out there who want to help you, who want to stand in solidarity with you. And when you see the helpers, consider also helping them. Mr. Rogers famously talked about, when you're in trouble, look for the helpers. Consider helping the helpers too. One of the things that is becoming readily apparent are divisions within different government agencies. School systems across the nation are declaring that they will not comply with the unlawful order given by Donald Trump related to transgender people. And make sure, in your calculations, consider how you can help out these types of institutional, bulwarks. I'm using that term a lot in this segment, but I think you understand why. Yeah. On Thursday, multiple school systems and representatives issued statements rejecting Trump's executive order. The order, released Wednesday, labels transgender identity an anti-American ideology and mandates discrimination in bathrooms and locker rooms while threatening teachers with criminal charges for supporting trans students' social transitions. In response, school officials across the country are making it clear they will not comply and they remain committed to protecting the rights of their transgender students. On Thursday, Julie Yang, president of the Montgomery County Board of Education in Maryland, issued a forceful response to Trump's executive order in a mass email to families. Representing a school district of 160,000 students, Yang affirmed that Montgomery County would continue to recognize gender identity as a protected characteristic. We stand by our community and school system values, which include learning, relationships, respect, excellence, and equity. They guide us every day and anchor us when navigating difficult times. We intend to use all legal means necessary to uphold them. We are committed to maintaining local authority over our curriculum, teaching, and learning, and we will fiercely support our teachers and staff as they implement our curriculum and policies. So, there are organizations and there are groups out there who will stand alongside us. But we also need to stand alongside them. And that may require that we get involved in our local political scene to better stand alongside them. Okay?
The people of the mountains of NC are hurting. FEMA is gone. If we as Democrats could send help them, mostly Trump voters, we could prove we are good.
I think we should do that just because it is the right thing to do. I don't think proving we are good is going to help us that much.
I'm getting a new job to escape my unsafe one. I'll be working with trans people, helping trans people with electrolysis. I'll use the money for that to get a place I can help people flee.
Charlie Jinmir, thank you for the $10 super chat, and that is wonderful. I'm glad you are getting out of an unsafe job. And also, you're going to be helping trans folks. That's lovely. That's wonderful. Yeah, we are going to be, there's a reason why in our Discord we've been putting together some guardrails, not guardrails, that's the wrong term, but like some informal systems that will allow us to help each other. Okay?
I've also been adding people on Discord to do wellness checks and assist where I can. All this may not be much, but it's within reach.
And yeah, folks, if you're willing to do that, that's a great idea. Especially if you are unable to like physically go out to do things, doing something like that, checking in with others in your communities online, it can go a really long way. One of my friends reached out to me the other day, and I might cry. He texted me, "Hey dude, how are you? Just remember, nothing these clowns write on paper will change who you are. Here for you." And honestly, like, something as simple as that can mean a lot. Can mean a lot. I think, folks, if you are willing to organize and do that in our Discord, that would probably be a really great idea. Especially maybe in like this. I don't know exactly in the Discord where you'd organize that, but figuring out something like that would be really good. Maybe we can even make a new channel specifically for that. I think it would help a lot of us who are going through it right now. And yeah. I do agree with this. I'm gonna throw this on screen. So folks, we need to organize amongst ourselves. We need to commit to doing 3 things, but I need you to commit to doing one additional thing for me immediately after watching this segment or this video. Okay? And that is very specifically, I need you all to look up via usa.gov, this tool here. You know, if it will even work. I'm going to link it in chat. Look up your elected officials, and I want you to call. I want you to do every single thing. I want you to email. I want you to call. I want you to write a letter. If you can, visit their offices. And I want you to put pressure on your elected officials. I don't give a shit if they are Republican or Democrat. I want you to put pressure on your elected officials to bar Elon Musk from fucking around with the treasury. Okay? I want you to do that. Because there aren't really, as far as I know, many formal mechanisms that can be invoked here to prevent him from doing that. So in the absence of those, we need to demand unprecedented action from our elected officials. We need, in no uncertain terms, we need to demand it. We need to make sure these people act, because I cannot stress this enough. If he is allowed to do this, we will not have a democracy. We will have a dictatorship. So I want you all, every single one of you, present and watching right now, whether you are a lurker or a chatter, I want you to commit to looking up your elected representatives in Congress. And I want you to commit to calling them, to emailing them, and to writing them letters. You can even use your email as your letter. I'm going to call 100%, but what sort of stuff should I say? Be polite, be respectful, but be firm in why you are calling. Be, you are allowed to express your displeasure, but be courteous about it. And you don't have to do a long call, but just make it apparent that this is very important. Okay? And I'm not kidding here when I say that this is an existential thing that you need to do. We are out of like, we're out of like this. Oh yeah, you know, you should pressure your elected representative, and you know, like together we can do this. No, like this is existential. We need to do anything and everything we can do. Throw the kitchen sink. All right, that's where we're at. This is the goddamn kitchen sink. And yes, you probably won't be talking to, that's good input, Darren S. You probably won't be talking to your actual elected representative. You will be talking with a staffer, but staffers and elected representatives pay attention to the calls and communications that come into their offices. We're in an existential time. And if things progress more towards, Elon doing this administrative coup, or Donald Trump via Elon doing this administrative coup, then we're going to be having some very different conversations about resistance. So please commit yourself to 3 things. And contact your local your local, elected official, national elected official rather, and encourage them to act. Because we cannot afford inaction. That's 4 things. Yeah, but the 3 things that I want you to commit to going forward, and then the 1 immediate action item. There's the reason it's a 3 and a 1. You guys get it. I feel so powerless. Very understandable. But one of the things you will find, and I promise you, I promise, when you commit yourself to ongoing action, to 3 different things, you will feel that sense of agency. Because you by yourself are not capable of doing all of the things. We live in a country of hundreds of millions of people. None of us are capable of doing all of the things all of those people do. So you look at what you can do, and then you start working on it. And you will make progress, I promise. You will feel a bit better, and importantly, you will feel less alone. Isolation is a tool of the enemy. Don't allow it to get its claws in you. After all, there is power in a union, friends.
4 things, top priority. Whatever you do, make sure you come home. Our existence is resistance, raised fist, white flag.
Yes. I'm gonna play one last thing here. This is a video put out by Innuendo Studios the other day, and I think it kind of encapsulates where we're at in a sideways fashion, which I like it. Innuendo Studios does good videos. But I think it hammers home kind of the, with sincerity, the stakes that are at play.
The Rubicon is a river in Italy. The story goes that at the end of the governorship of Julius Caesar, he was ordered to disband his army and stay north of the Rubicon. When instead Caesar marched his army across the river and towards Rome, it was considered an act of treason and the beginning of the Roman Civil War, at the end of which Caesar would reign victorious. It is said, as he forded the Rubicon, Caesar declared, "The die is cast." In today's vernacular, we refer to a metaphoric Rubicon as the point of no return. Children cross the Rubicon into adulthood. Isolationist governments cross the Rubicon into international politics. Each of us will cast the die several times in our own lives. But we say also that movements, that people, cross the Rubicon when they become irredeemable. When times are bad, we wonder anxiously how far from the Rubicon we are. When does an insurgency become a war? A demonstration? A riot? When is the moment an economy in danger becomes one in collapse? We scan the horizon for the riverbank, hoping we didn't cross it some ways back. The thing about points of no return, the reason we worry over them so much, is it's rare to know where they are until they are some ways behind you. The Rubicon is not the Mississippi. It is a muddy little creek history lost track of for centuries. In the United States, we are increasingly comfortable saying that our democracy is under threat, that we are at risk of descending into authoritarianism. Few are ready to say that the threat has arrived. And I'm referring to myself when I say that. I'm not ready to say it's arrived. No one wants to call it prematurely. The right screams that the left, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, some thinly veiled caricature of the Jews, are ready to kick down your door and bash your teeth in. And I talk about why they say this. Their need to exaggerate the threat from the left so that when they aggress against us, it seems like self-defense, so that we are to blame for any violence we suffer. I talk about the danger of this thinking being accepted. I say the way mainstream conservative politicians and media legitimize these arguments is worrying. But I don't say, they are saying this in preparation to kick down your door and bash in your teeth. I want people to listen to me. I don't want to sound irrational. I don't want to sound like them. And I don't want it to be true yet. Say, for the sake of argument, you are, at this moment, standing ankle deep in the water, desperately wondering how many paces you are from the south bank of the Rubicon. There was a time when any number of things would have been the moment. If you could go back to 2015 and ask, is a candidate promising to jail his political opponents, or a president building concentration camps at the border, or a lame duck provoking an insurrection to overturn a vote, the moment where you would unequivocally call him a fascist? And we would have said, no question. But those moments came, and they went. And we called them troubling. We called them dangerous. But it still seemed alarmist to call them fascist. Journalists and policy wonks still reacted with surprise if you came anywhere near the word.
How can you say that?
You could still run a campaign.
I do want to point out, just for the posterity, that I have been calling them fascists, and I've been correct the entire time.
On reasoning with the right. Republicans have made great strides by being so blatantly horrible that accurately describing their behavior sounds like hyperbole. It seems we are always approaching the other side of the Rubicon, never arriving. We can turn back. The North is still the nearer bank. And there is a knack to this. Everyone expects it to happen all at once. That one day we will wake up to swastikas and kids in cages and unmarked vans disappearing people off the streets. But those all happened on different days. And the swastikas were a natural extension of the barely coded language of the administration's supporters. The cages were the next step after their family separation policy. And the vans were not a surprise after years of police militarization. You don't have to cross the river quickly. Just steadily, so that every step makes the last one seem inevitable and the next one obvious. The people who say, this will never happen on our watch, they'll just divert the river south to keep it true. It's losing a little ground on a dozen fronts every day. It's seeing so many lines crossed, you can't even remember where you used to draw them. It's the readiness to give up on things being better and just wanting them to be quiet. I can't tell you if that moment has come. I don't know how to call it any better than you. So instead, I'm going to ask you to do something. I want you to decide, at this moment, what the Rubicon is for you. What is that undeniable instant where if something drastic does not happen immediately, your rights and freedoms are forfeit? And don't show up in my comments saying it already happened years or centuries ago. You're not wrong, but cynicism is acceptance. I'm asking, when would be the time to act? Write it down. Put it on your phone or your dry erase board or a post-it on your bathroom mirror. So when that moment comes, you will remember that this was your Rubicon. because it won't feel like it anymore. It will feel like the next logical step. And ask yourself, when that moment comes, what is the right thing to do? You don't have to have an answer yet, but think on it, because we haven't been doing it. As a leftist, the futures I envision are full of possibility. I am fond of saying, there are 100 ways forward and only one way back. So many things we could try if we allow ourselves to let go of white supremacy, of capitalism, of patriarchy. Imagining the future is a kind of world building. To be on the left, at least the way I try to do it, is to desire a spreading out, a pluralizing, an abandonment of hierarchy, and a sharing of power between us all. I don't know if that future is likely, but I know it's possible. That's not how things look on the right. For the right, left to its own devices, all roads lead to Rome. There's no telling what you're gonna do when the chips are down. Now that the chips are down, what you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. Dum, dum.
Yeah. Great video. But I do think that it's one of the bigger alarm bells currently going off right now. Okay? Because I think it's good advice. Figure out what your red line is and start thinking now about what you will do when that line is crossed. And like, I know people are going to be like, well, it's already been crossed. No, it hasn't. We are very close to that being crossed, but frankly, you all have heard me talking throughout this stream about, like, how in the very near future we could be talking about a very different kind of, like, resistance to government tyranny. What are you going to do when the Rubicon is crossed? Is not a question of, like, oh, well, I'm going to start volunteering at the local homeless shelter. I'm going to start attending my Democratic meetings. That's not the kind of thing that we're talking about happening when the chips are down. Y'all understand that, right? Yeah, the question about having that red line is what you will do when it's time to get, like, when it's time to really contend with the fact that the United States has fallen to dictatorship. I have no idea what the Rubicon is for me. I have an idea for myself. I think it is when effectively Donald Trump no longer needs Congress. I think that's my red line. And I don't have an answer for what will happen and what I may do, or what I like, what kind of resistance, what resistance looks like after that line has been crossed. And I don't know that any of us do. You mean disbanding Parliament? Well, we don't have Parliament in the United States. I mean when Congress basically becomes a vestigial organ. When he no longer has to really pass legislation or get funding from Congress. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, Dragonfly, like, I agree. Like, what does resistance look like when that line is crossed? Maybe it looks like state secession, like actually being pursued. Maybe it looks like, you know, your state and the federal government coming into conflict. Maybe it is an entirely different action from you. I don't know. So, that is just something to kick around in your brain, because I do think that folks who say that we've crossed the Rubicon and continue to live, you know, day-to-day life as if everything's like it was a year ago, I don't think you're serious. I don't think you actually understand what the Rubicon moment is here. I know this may sound a bit paranoid, but I just feel afraid to reach out to these people, especially to Republicans in my state, because I feel like if they retaliate or write my name on a list, I don't know, I just feel afraid. That's why working with a community is empowering, you know? They can't arrest every Democrat in your area. Anyone else afraid, or just me? Oh, I'm fucking terrified. You know? I'm terrified. North Americans across the political spectrum are spoiled. We mostly have no concept of what real dictatorship looks like. True. My dude, thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome, folks. Yeah, Casey, worrying about, like, an authoritarian government arresting protesters. Definitely something to worry about. Though, I will say, I'm gonna tread carefully here with my language. I do think that we can take heart and take inspiration from the civil rights movements of the past. The government is powerful, but they can't arrest all of us. They just logistically can't do it. And so at a certain point, if we are getting more into an ongoing protest movement against the Trump administration, we're going to start to have to change our, you know, our culture of protest. We are going to have to wear those arrests like badges of honor. You know, we're gonna go down to the station and turn ourselves in, tell them, arrest us, otherwise my community is gonna think I'm a pussy. You know, like that's basically, by the way, what happened during the civil rights movement. It became like a shame on you if you, in your community, if you were not arrested for protesting for civil rights. A similar recalibration may be needed here. Yeah, that's my concern, Mr. Malachite. When it comes to protests, I'm worried about the military being deployed. However, and maybe this is naivety on my part, But I do think U.S. soldiers are not yet indoctrinated to the point where they are willing to fire on American citizens en masse. Much like the soldiers in South Korea, I don't think they would follow that order. I don't think they would do that. At least not yet. So, I understand that there's a lot of fear. But one of the ways you can combat that is, again, by refocusing yourself on what you can immediately do. Fear thrives in unknowns, and it thrives off of inaction. When you commit yourself to an action, fear recedes. Because you are actively participating. You have agency. And a large part of fear is a lack of agency. Right? A large part of the fear of arrest is not having agency in the arrest. Right? Yeah, we are going to have to fight fiercely, Maxi FT Dragon. I 100% agree with you there. And I also agree that the Democratic Party is currently a gigantic obstacle, but it is one that we can turn into a big ally. You know, the Democratic Party is made up of people. And if we, more radicalized individuals, attend the Democratic Party meetings, we will radicalize the Democratic Party. We can weaponize it for good. And on top of that, part of the hope I'm holding on to is that out of tomorrow's election for DNC chair, Ben Wickler emerges the victor. Because Ben Wickler has been forged in the fires of Wisconsin, which, if you know anything about the Wisconsin political situation over the last decade, you will know that those fires ran hot. Wickler got Hakeem Jeffries' endorsement. Okay, well then he's got the trifecta. He's got Schumer, Pelosi, and Jeffries behind him. I think he might have this in the bag. I certainly hope so. Because I've listened to him talk. I've heard his enthusiasm. I have heard him discuss at length his plans. And his is a leadership that could actually give a spine to the Democratic Party. That could actually have it stand up to authoritarian overreach. And my hope is that after tomorrow, he emerges victorious. And when he does, he's going to emerge and assume power over a Democratic Party that is currently facing down one of the most authoritarian threats that the party has ever faced in the history of the country. But with the resources available to him, I do think he is going to put up a hell of a fight. And I think that he is going to direct a lot of Democratic politicians to put up or shut up. To actually go into the Trump administration and, put sugar in the gas tank. Gum up the works. He's a union man. And you know that there's nothing that there's nothing a union man knows how to do better than to foil the machinery of the workplace. Okay? Union men, very good at gumming up the works and making sure that large, seemingly incredibly powerful systems can grind to a halt. Okay? That's possible with the brawn and brain of a working man. So I really do hope he wins tomorrow. that will be my thing I'm holding on to. Okay? That'll be the thing I am pinning a lot of my hopes on, and if he loses, well, it doesn't really change our game plan. It just means we have a little bit we have less help on the inside. You know? That's kind of where we're at. No matter the outcome of that election tomorrow, it's just a question of does our job get easier or harder? And it's already a hard job. So, yes. I'm going to do one last call to action here. I want you, as soon as this segment is done, as soon as, stream is done, maybe, use this tool to look up your local politician, all right? Just usa.gov. Look up your elected folks, your representatives in Congress, your senators in Congress. Look them up. And I need you guys to call, to email, and to write letters. Even consider faxing them letters, all right? You need to be putting as much pressure as humanly possible on these elected officials to take action against Elon Musk and his attempt to basically circumvent the Constitution on behalf of Donald Trump. We need to make as big a stink about this as possible in order to ensure that Donald Trump does not assume dictatorial power in the United States. I know some people came in the middle, so I'm going to summarize it real quick. Elon Musk and his agents and his cronies have been poking around the Department of Treasury in order to gain access to the payment systems that basically funnel money to make the government function. All the money used for paychecks, used for funding different aspects of the government, used for Social Security, for Medicaid, used for trillions of dollars every year, goes through the Department of Treasury, and that has never before been politicized. Elon Musk is seeking to control that flow in order to effectively give Donald Trump unilateral control over funding, something that is constitutionally a power given to Congress. So we need to put a stop to that. It is an existential question for the future of the country. So I'm asking you to get your elected representatives in Congress to do something about this. And you know what? Even if you live in a red state, even if you have conservative elected officials, you call them, you send that letter, you send that email. Okay? It's vitally important. This just happened today. We need people tomorrow to know that we know and that we will not stand for it. Okay? We need to, again, we're in kitchen sink politics. We throw everything and the kitchen sink at our problem. Now, after you do that, do your brainstorming session and come up with 3 ways going forward that you are going to take action to further resistance and, leftist politics. 3 things. Three goddamn things. Is there a link to this news story? Yes. There you go. It's out of the New Republic. Yes, the treasury one of the head of the treasury quit because Elon Musk's cronies disagreed with him. And again, if this goes through, we're going to be having very different conversations about what you can do politically beyond just going to your local Democratic Party, joining DSA, and attending meetings. If Donald Trump becomes a dictator, then all of the political organizing we've been talking about takes on a very different tone and character. What else can we do? I don't know the situation in your local area. You're gonna have to brainstorm that. That's why I'm saying think about what you can do and then choose three things. Has to be like material, has to be like actually organizing in some way, has to be actually helping those in your community in some way, not just like reposting stuff on Twitter. Okay? Also, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this, but this is probably bad. According to BNO News Live, federal employees are receiving crude messages after the Trump administration's new email system turned out to be insecure. One of the mailing lists for NOAA employees is allowing emails to go through without any verification. And as you can see, not great. Things basically today, the Trump administration destroyed a lot of our online infrastructure. There's not really another way of saying it. When will you get the video of this segment out to share? I will do it as soon as stream is done. This will be going out as soon as possible. I'm scared of not being able to do much due to disability. Well, Comrade Girl, I can tell you a couple of things. Even if you are bound to your home, you can still organize online with others in your community because DSA and your local Dems tend to have online meetings. Like Zoom participation is one of the ways people can attend. I have personally attended all of my meetings with Democrats and DSA via Zoom. So I can attest that there's a lot you can do on that front to organize and help, even if you are online. Even if the line is crossed. If the line is crossed, we're still going to need people to organize online. But I don't know how you are going to do that. That is something you're going to have to look into yourself. I don't have the answers on how we organize if the line is crossed. Paladin Lost says, are you computer savvy? Can you handle your way around Microsoft Office? Contact your local legal aid society or immigrant law society and volunteer. They will train you how to write a cease and desist and other simple legal forms, do simple bookkeeping, etc. They may even let you work from home. That's actually a really good idea. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be needing legal assistance. And there are various ways you can participate in that online. Take a look at this. Yeah, this is I'm glad. It seems like the establishment is falling in behind Ben Wickler, and honestly, while that is good, I think it is very chilling. I think it is one of those things that, is going to be difficult for folks to deal with. I think it is going to be, well, let me put it this way, guys. They are falling in line behind Ben Wickler because they know that the moment calls for Ben Wickler. They would not be doing this if they didn't feel like they had another choice. You know, if they felt like they had another choice, they would fall in behind someone else, you know? Effectively. They want... Well, they know that they have to win. They know that they have to grow a spine. You know, they're gonna do it kicking and screaming, but I think they understand that we're in uncharted territory. A scared Dem is the dead canary. Exactly, Calavera Kid. You get it. Paladin Lost has a lot of good ideas. One thing you can do from home that's petty, useful, and fun is to online troll Trump resources. They set up forums or hotlines for ratting, set up phony Google Voice accounts. True! True! Yeah, people have already done that. The whole, like, some of the Trump hotlines and, like, tip lines have already been flooded with fakes. Keep that up. Keep it up, folks. All in good fun. Oh, Read R, they're anonymous tip lines. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, if they wanted, it's true. If they wanted to go for the center, they'd go for either Martin O'Malley or Ken Martin, honestly. Do we really believe that with the Trump administration? Generally, that's how those things are set up. But you're right. Maybe they would take the time to set up a non-anonymous tip line, but that is not... I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that is beyond their abilities at the moment. Yeah, the canary in the coal mine, Blueberry Bumblebee. The idea being that in, like, old-timey coal mines, miners would carry a canary because if there was toxic gas, the canary would die first, letting them know that they should get out. It'd give them enough time. It would give the miners enough time to survive. You got it. You got it, folks. My last work I never got to finish in my old DSA chapter was trying to build a group of people who could be called out to any action at any given time, like the flyers of UAW past who would show up to any strike across the US at any time. Yeah. That is kind of what I would like to have in every state. Have I done something wrong tonight? No. Just, it is the world that is wrong tonight. Not you. You're wonderful. Hey, Comrade Alita. It's going all right. There's a lot you can do in DSA that's not just meetings. It's true. It's true. It's true. But yes, please do not engage in any violence or organizing towards violent ends. Obviously, I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you guys that. But yeah, I think we all understand each other here, so that is good. I need to go use the bathroom. I will be right back. And we will go on and do more content. The stream must go on. And also, we've been going for 2.5 hours. If you've been enjoying the show, and enjoying, I know, is loose at the moment, getting anything out of this, consider hitting the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the YouTube stream, and consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc., because this show is only made possible because of folks like you who support it. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you being here tonight. True, call your governor. There are a lot of things you guys can do. Very true. What does it mean when I look up my local DSA and it says organizing committee? I am not looking at what you're looking at, so I'm not entirely sure, but I bet if you ask Christina/GamerG, she'll be able to tell you what's up in your local chapter. Can we have Couchfucker back in the rotation? Yeah. Let me pull up that playlist. Here we go. Go. Here we go. I'll, while I go to the bathroom, you guys can enjoy Couchfucker. Here we go. Anyway, subs, donos, etc., very much appreciated. Consider while I'm gone. BRB.
He called himself a hillbilly, wrote an elegy. His problem and his trouble is he went back and he doubled down on the fascism and the lies, and then he made a fatal crime. Couchfucker, couchfucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couchfucker, couchfucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. But in 2005 you wrote back then only one time. I felt femininely when I saw that movie about New Jersey. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I must deny. And that's when J.D. Vance said he wants trans people to go die. Couchfucker, couchfucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couchfucker, couchfucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. At the RNC, he felt maybe I'll be free if I take up on this task, being MAGA starting grasp to take over the country. I think J.D. Vance needs a swirly. Couchfucker, couchfucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couchfucker, couchfucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. Couchfucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couchfucker, couchfucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025.
it's in his head, it's in his head. He wishes he could fix what's in his head, what's in his head. He breaks his heart in every dream where they both kiss underneath the sheets. What a beautiful dream. Oh, and he plays pretend. It's in his head, it's in his head. He wishes he could fix what's in his head, what's in his head. He breaks his heart in every dream where they both kiss underneath the sheets. What a beautiful dream. And he plays pretend. It's in his head, it's in his head. He wishes he could fix what's in his head, what's in his head. He breaks his heart in every dream where they both kiss underneath the sheets. What a beautiful dream. What does the fascists say when the lies are sold in spades? They say they need our civil rights while we work hard and die. Under God, they defend the genocide. They have said they cleanse your soul by making sure your tale is never told. No matter how hard they try, through guns or laws or religious rhymes, they can take your arms, they can take your eyes, but when we sing your name, you can never die. You are true, they can't deny. To live is sweet revenge, you strike great fear into the hearts of men. The voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're on me. To resist as hard as I can, 'cause all they want is for you to end. Through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You will rise. They thought they could make you hide, disappear right before their eyes, and no man says to me, here come the 40 thieves, riding into battle, wrath and power, this is stopping me. No matter how hard they try, through guns or laws or religious rise, they can take your arms, they can take your eyes, but when we sing your name, you can never die. You are true, they can't deny. To live is sweet revenge, you strike great fear to the hearts of men. The voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're on me. To resist as hard as I can, 'cause all they want is for you to end. Through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You are true, they wish they can't deny. To live is sweet revenge, you strike great fear to the hearts of men. The voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're on me. To resist as hard as I can, 'cause all they want is for you to end. Through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You will rise.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Is there aught we hold in common with the greedy parasite who would lash us into serfdom crush us with his might. Is there anything left to us but to organize and fight? For the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. They say our day is over. They say our time is through. They say you need no union if your collar isn't blue. Well, that is just another lie the boss is telling you, for the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. They divide us by our color, they divide us by our tongue. They divide us men and women, they divide us old and young. But they'll tremble at our voices when they hear these verses sung. For the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn. But without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the Union makes us strong.
Hello, folks. Hello, hello, hello. Can't stand anything even vaguely gospel? Well, the good news is it's not a gospel song. It was a song written to commemorate the death of John Brown, who gave his life to try and free the slaves. So, not a gospel song. And then it became the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And was sung as we defeated the slavers in the South. And then was adopted as a Union song. Working on contacting officials? Hell yeah, thank you. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave. John Brown's body lies a-mouldering in the grave, but his truth is marching on. It is pretty Christian coded, but also, you know, like John Brown believed it was his, you know, religious duty to end slavery. You know, as far as like a thing you could do motivated by religion, that's pretty unambiguously good. Good night, Andrew S. You have a good voice, but I still want to die. Hey, same. Welcome to the club. Let's see here. What is this?
Hello, Mr. Watanabe Generico. Would you like to buy this conveniently cheap slave?
Oh God. Fuck. It took me a minute to realize what exactly this was. God damn it. Rising of the Shield Hero is such a bad show. the fucking premise.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. I guess I have no choice but to buy a slave.
No! You can't barge into my mansion just to burn it down and free my slave harem!
Face the judgment of the Lord, slaver!
It's true. You know what? That would be a much better anime. Just like just get isekai'd into a world, a fantasy world that has slavery, and just be like, oh fuck no, fuck that. That would be such a good show. Shield Hero abridged, make it happen. Yeah, the harem that loves, the anti-slavery campaigner would actually make sense. True. Pluvius, that does not make me want to see that anime. Oh, God. Yeah, there was another plane crash earlier today. I don't have the spoons to cover that. What anime universe would you want to be isekai'd in? Like, none of them? They're all pretty awful. I feel like if I got isekai'd into a fantasy universe, I would pull a Konosuba. I gotta be honest. I'd just hang out in the starter town. No, Food Wars would be one of the worst ones. Everyone's coming the second they make a dish. It's weird. Like, it's one of the most uncomfortable ones. Is there any with gender swap potions? Yeah, a lot of them. Abolitionist reborn into another world to free its slaves and defeat the demon lord evil Robert Lee. Konosuba would also suck if you had to deal with that protag guy. Fuck that guy. Well, yeah, fuck that guy in particular, but also the world's a big place. I don't have to deal with him. And all the other characters seem pretty nice. Just don't hang out with those guys. I'm glad I have never watched anime. I saw one episode of Dragon Ball Z as a little kid and was weirded out. I don't know, there's some good anime. I liked Doro... I liked Dororo. About the lizard man. Slept on anime right there. Has a buff muscle mommy that I like. Also, that lizard-headed guy is just the biggest. Dorohedoro. There we go. Was it not Dorororo? That's Dorohedoro. Ah, damn it. Dorohedoro's fun. I just want him to find the guy that the face inside his mouth will recognize. Yeah, the anime, like a lot of the anime tropes and like framing I dislike, but there are some anime that like transcend that. I really like, for example, I really like Death Parade. Death Parade is a slept-on show. It's really good. Good night, tipster. And yeah, I don't fucking know where we're going with this show tonight. I was thinking about starting to play through Undertale, but I'm not sure if I'm in the headspace for that. The F-Zero anime is pretty good, yeah. Trigun is like a classic. I'm the strongest S-ranked adventurer from another world, and I use my powers to run a very good delicatessen as peak paladin isekai. That does sound fun. Yeah, look, I'm a stan of both Full Metal Alchemists. Those are both great. Also, Ranking of Kings. If you all haven't watched Ranking of Kings, what are you doing with your life? If you haven't watched Ranking of Kings and Mob Psycho 100, god damn, you're missing out. Guys, you want the pitch for Ranking of Kings? Okay. So you got a prince, right? And he's the eldest, he's the firstborn son of the king. But the king is a goddamn giant. Okay? And the prince is like a little guy. He's just like he's a birthday boy, you know? Just kind of a round-headed, like almost buffoonishly proportioned little guy. And he is also deaf and mute. And so he communicates by reading lips and sign language, which is really cool in an anime. And the thing he wants to dedicate his life to is becoming like the best king. He wants to become the best king for his people. And so his entire journey is doing that. However, he has a younger brother who wants to usurp the throne, and whose like stepmother, like whose like mother is like, yeah,
when
his
Ed
mom died.
realizes
It's
what
a whole
Al did
thing.
in the final battle, it gets me every time. Underrated gasp and other non-word verbal signals in so many great anime.
Yes, Sake Tanuki. That is one of those like room goes quiet moments. Full Metal Alchemist is so good. But yeah, basically this adorable little prince who just wants to do his best, like befriends a shadow creature, assassin, and everyone consistently underestimates him, and he always takes them by surprise. It's such a good anime. Check out Ranking of Kings. It will make you cry. It is so goddamn sweet. And also, I'm realizing right now that, like, I'm billing it as a sweet show, But that makes it all the more horrifying when actual horrific violence happens. Also, Sake Tanuki, thank you for supporting the show, especially on hard days like today. I would say, though, maybe a good show to watch right now would be Mob Psycho 100. It's entirely built around bettering yourself and building a supportive community, which I think is kind of the ethos we need. And also, Mob Psycho 100, if you are used to, like, shonen anime, is basically an inversion of shonen anime in, like, a really cool way. Did my Chair-kun dono go through? I don't see it. Gee, I wonder why my fascist brother didn't like Ranking of Kings. Yeah. Mob Psycho 100 is one of if not my favorite animes. Like it's just about a kid who wants to do better. You know, he wants to achieve great things, and he works really hard at it. It's a show about working on yourself and like moving towards a better goal, you know? You got a couple of donos during Oh, wait. It did go through. Never mind. I didn't see it didn't update the thing. I had to manually. Paladin, thank you for the 10 gifted tier 1 subs. Obligatory chair-kun donation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, they showed in chat. Okay, cool. Hope you don't mind. I thought this worthwhile, so I made a shot of your call to action. A short of your call to action. Yeah, you can share that around. And this is the kind of problem. Yeah. You can feel free to share that around as well, chat. I'll just drop this into the other chats real quick. There you go. Call to action. Share it around. Do it. Okay? One Piece is actually unironically so good. I've been slowly watching through One Piece. I just finished the Fishman Island arc. And, like, so far it's pretty alright, but people tell me it gets a lot better after that. So, like, kind of where I'm at with One Piece right now, I'm like, alright, this is alright. This is pretty good. I'm not, like, sold on it yet, but people guarantee me it's coming down the pipeline at some point. Thanks, Danny Fallen. You'll love the Wano arc? Hell yeah. 500 episodes in and not sold. I mean, I'm not 500 episodes in yet. I don't think I've watched that much One Piece. Good night, Ren. You know, even with like the One Piece caveat, you have to get past 200 episodes and then it gets good. Like, that's still 800 excellent episodes of anime if you manage to make it through the 200 episodes. Like, even if that was true. Do you mean Arlong Park? Yeah, the Fishman Island one. Unless that's a different... unless Fishman Island is different. I don't know. The Fishman arc is super... Okay, well then I just finished Arlong Park. There we go. I don't know, Pluvius. It's been like a few weeks since I watched an episode. I've been pretty busy. Oh, you just... Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's like, oh, you just started. I'm like 60 episodes in. Let's see here. So Chad has time to catch up? Absolutely. Also, I've been watching Shangri-La Frontier recently. That's a surprisingly fun anime. You know? I wasn't really expecting much from it. And but I was curious why it got like 3 seasons so far, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. It's surprisingly fun. Do. Also, I got to admit, I do like Fire Force a lot, and that's fun. That show's decent as far as like a shonen goes. One thing I need to get into too is Gintama. I've never watched a ton of it. I've watched maybe like several, like maybe like 5 or 6 episodes. I think if I got into Gintama, I would like it a lot. Just from what I've seen of bits and pieces. I feel like a lot of people sleep on Gintama. Jazz Dog, totally understand. Ooh, also, if you're feeling like a rom-com type situation that's just really wholesome, My Love Story is great. I 10 out of 10 recommend it, and it's generally speaking not like sussy in a way a lot of rom-coms can be. Would recommend. So what is the next topic? I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily have a ton of spoons today. You know, telling you that the Republic is falling was kind of like the whole gist of the show. You know, after that, it's kind of like, what do I do now? Like, you know, it feels unimportant to, I don't know, make fun of like Ben Shapiro after that. I've not seen Garden of Words, no. Return to the Forgotten City? Maybe. I'm not really in the headspace for that right now. Shill other leftist creators? Yeah, y'all should go follow Dead Domain. If you're not following what they're doing, what are you doing with your life? They just put out a really great video about going to Trump's inauguration. Gamergy, it would be funny and cathartic to mock fascists like Ben, but I like maybe tomorrow, you know, like that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. You wanted to ask me about the CIA manual about sabotaging fascism? What about it? I've talked about it on stream already. Yeah, Samanus, I'm kind of going back and forth between either calling it or starting Undertale. I'm tired as fuck, Lady Raincloud. But, like, not physically. Physically, I feel so anxious I want to vomit. Feel jittery. But, like, my heart is tired. You sound exhausted? That's, you know... You should start Undertale? Do you think it would be calming? Did you ever finish Dragon's Dogma 2? I didn't. No. Maybe call it and do a movie in Discord? That could be fun. The Geckomancer. I was looking for that the other day.
Good evening.
And I couldn't find it because I have like a tab group for analog horror now. I'm gonna put that in that right now. Cool stuff. Nice. You should play FTL again. Does Undertale fall under a comfort game? I think so. Do I like sandbox and building type games? Sometimes. It's hard because I haven't really felt like I have the time to actually play a game. So now, like, it's like, oh, it's time to play one. Sniper Elite Resistance. It did look very fun. Civ. No, I'm waiting on Civ for Civ 7. You should play Fallout New Vegas. I should. But I think I'm gonna end stream because I know that this is not riveting content. You guys can do other stuff. Maybe we'll stream some movies in the Discord. Hope you're well. Tacoma Blues, very much the opposite. Yeah, my heart hurts. We'll call it a night, and I don't know if we'll try again tomorrow. I got other stuff to do. Can I join the movie thing? Yeah, it's in the Discord. Join the Discord. Which movie? Well, we watched a couple of Edgar Wright movies earlier in the Discord while I was editing. And that was pretty fun. So maybe we'll start the Cornetto trilogy. Anyway, bye, folks. And remember, 3 things. Do the 3 things. What can you do? Figure out 3 things and start taking action on those things. All right? Bye, folks. Solidarity forever. Which movie? We'll probably start with Shaun of the Dead. Maybe Hot Fuzz. Both are very fun. Bye, folks.
Oh, take my hand in your hand and walk with me to the promised land. Beat your drum and join the band, and we'll chase away the clouds of the morning. We don't need any more than we are. We don't have to be afraid. There is a power in these legs and arms and the voices that we can raise, saying no, we won't go away. I have heard the crowds of the old and the young when the steel canyons echoed with the songs that were sung, and the streets were filled and the law was undone, and the fever of the people was breaking. We don't need any hand-me-downs. We're not looking for charity. We've been fooled, we've been jerked around, and there's only so much we can say. No, we won't go away. Oh, the time it will come all over the earth. We will lay down our tools, their concessions we'll refuse when there's nothing left to lose. Throw our bodies on the gears and stop this infernal machine. There's another day just about to unfold when another world will rise from the ashes of the old, and the meek will follow in the footsteps of the bold when we realize what's ours for the taking. We don't need any weapons of war, not a drop of blood will fall away. They are many, but we are many more, and the sky will echo our refrain. No, we won't go away. Oh, 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 the time it will come all over the earth. We will lay down our tools, their concessions we'll refuse when there's nothing left to lose. Throw our bodies on the gears and stop this infernal machine.